Let me tell you something that's going to sting a little. The next time you walk into your grocery store, look at the ketchup aisle. Right next to that bright red bottle of Heinz, there's a store brand version sitting on the same shelf. Same red color, same tomato, same ingredient list, almost word for word. And the name brand costs 67% more than the store brand for what is essentially the same product. That's not me guessing. That's a January 2026 study by NetCredit comparing 171 common grocery items at Walmart, Kroger, and Target. 67% more for ketchup. And ketchup is just the beginning. According to industry consultant Bert Flickinger, a family of 4 that buys store brands when practicable can save up to $5,000 a year. Let me say that again, $5,000 a year, just by not buying 12 specific items in the name brand version. That's a vacation. That's a car repair. That's 3 months of groceries for some families. And the wildest part is, in most cases, you're buying the exact same product, made in the exact same factory, by the exact same company, just with a different label and a different price tag. The food industry calls this private label manufacturing. It's an open secret in the supply chain. The same plant that produces a name brand jar of pasta sauce on Monday morning produces the store brand version of that exact same sauce on Monday afternoon. Same recipe, slightly different label, half the price. So today, I'm going to walk you through 12 name brand pantry items that only dumb people are still buying in 2026. And by dumb, I don't mean stupid. I mean people who have never been told the truth about who actually makes their food. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. The Private Label Manufacturers Association estimates American consumers leave over $40 billion on the table every single year by reaching for the name brand. 40 billion. With a B, number 1, spices and seasonings. And walk into any grocery store and look at the spice aisle. On one side, you've got McCormick, the little red caps, $5, $6, sometimes $8 for a tiny jar. Right next to it, the store brand. Same spice, same weight, sometimes $3 cheaper. Here's what nobody tells you. The vast majority of ground spices, garlic powder, cinnamon, paprika, black pepper, chili powder, come from the same global suppliers. A handful of processors in India, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Madagascar grow and grind these spices. Then they sell the exact same product in bulk to McCormick and to the store brand companies. The only difference between that $6 McCormick jar and the $3 store brand jar is the label glued onto the glass. The cinnamon inside is identical, came from the same field, the same grinder, the same shipping container. McCormick doesn't have a secret cinnamon farm in Sri Lanka that nobody else has access to. Number 2 on the list, salt, sugar, flour, and baking soda. These 4 items are what scientists call single ingredient products. Salt is salt, sugar is sugar, flour is flour, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. There is no proprietary formula, there is no secret recipe, there is no McCormick blend. You cannot make table salt taste different by putting it in a fancier box. Let me tell you a quick story before I keep going. Robert is 68, lives in Cleveland, Ohio. Retired auto worker, 32 years at the Ford assembly plant. His granddaughter moved in with him 2 years ago. They live on his pension and Social Security. Last December, he sat down at the kitchen table with his receipts. He had been doing this every month since his bills started climbing. What he found made him sick. He was spending $412 a month at the grocery store for 2 people. He looked at every receipt for 90 days. He highlighted every name brand item in yellow. Heinz ketchup, McCormick spices, Quaker Oats, Cheerios, Tropicana, Hellmann's mayonnaise, Land O'Lakes butter. The total he was spending on name brand items every month was around $240. $240 out of $412. That's more than half his grocery budget. His son-in-law showed him the documentation, not a coupon app, not a YouTube video. Actual documentation showing which name brands are made by the same factories that make the store brand version, with manufacturer codes, with FDA filings, with the math. Robert switched 12 items the next month. Just 12. Same cereal he ate as a kid, store brand version, same ketchup color, same pasta shape. His next grocery bill was $147 lower in 1 month. He's done that for 11 months now. He's saved over $1,600. He hasn't told his granddaughter because he doesn't want her to feel bad about anything. The complete documentation costs less than what Robert was overpaying for 1 month of name brand groceries. 7 days money back guarantee. Link in the description. $3 fix, $400 invoice. Your choice. Back to the video. Continuing. Now, back to salt and sugar and flour. Morton makes you pay sometimes double what the store brand charges for the exact same crystalline mineral. Michigan State University Extension confirmed this in their research. Most baking staples taste and perform identically to name brands. A 2015 study from the University of Chicago and Brown University found that professional chefs, the people who cook for a living, buy store brand for over 75% of their pantry staples. Think about that for a second. The people who make food professionally. Who would lose their restaurant if the food tasted bad? They buy the cheap stuff because they know it's identical. But the everyday consumer is still paying $3.90 for a name brand bag of flour, when the store brand right next to it is $1.74. The complete documentation breaks down which staple goods are literally chemically identical with the manufacturer codes that prove it. Link in the description. 7 days money back guarantee. Now back to the list. Number 3, ketchup. I already mentioned the 67% markup, but let me give you the specific numbers. At Walmart, a standard bottle of Heinz ketchup runs about $4.28. A Walmart store brand, Great Value Ketchup, runs about $2.58. Same size, same red color. Heinz has a slightly deeper red. That's the only visual difference. Consumer Reports made staff members who regularly buy Heinz do a blind taste test against the store brand. More than 40% of them preferred the store brand. 40% of their own loyal Heinz customers in a blind test. You're paying almost double for a color difference you can't taste. Number 4, pasta and dry noodles. Store brand spaghetti is on average 49% cheaper than name brand spaghetti. 49%, almost half. Pasta is flour and water. That's it. There's no Barilla magic. The factories in Italy, Pennsylvania, and Ohio that crank out the name brand pasta also produce the store brand pasta on the same lines, on different shifts. Different packaging, same noodle. If you cook a pound of name brand spaghetti and a pound of store brand spaghetti side by side, you cannot tell the difference once they're on the plate with sauce on top. Number 5, breakfast cereal. This one is going to make you angry. Consumer Affairs reported that Kroger brand cereal is manufactured by General Mills and Kellogg's, the same two companies that make Cheerios and Frosted Flakes and Special K. So when you pick up a box of Kroger toasted oats next to a box of Cheerios, both made by General Mills, same oats, same vitamin fortification, same factory, different box. Cheerios costs about $4.98 at Publix. The store brand version costs about $2.65. That's a savings of $2.33 per box. If you go through a box a week, that's $120 a year for one cereal. Most families have 3 or 4 cereals in the pantry at any time. Number 6, frozen fruits and vegetables. Roughly 30% cheaper when you buy store brand, sometimes more. According to data tracked by industry analysts, store brands account for about 2/3 of the frozen vegetables sold in the United States as of 2025. 2/3. The majority of shoppers have already figured this one out. But there's still a stubborn group that buys Bird's Eye and Green Giant because the packaging looks more trustworthy. Here's the truth. The peas inside that Bird's Eye bag came from the same field, were flash frozen at the same processing plant, by the same handful of producers that supply every store brand in the country. Green Giant doesn't have a secret pea farm. Bird's Eye doesn't grow its own broccoli. They contract with the same agricultural cooperatives in Washington, California, and the upper Midwest. The frozen berry market is even more consolidated. A handful of processors in Oregon and Chile control almost everything that ends up in a freezer bag in America. The biggest single price gap NetCredit found was in the freezer aisle. Store brand ice cream sandwiches were 57% cheaper on average than the name brand version across Walmart, Kroger, and Target. 57%. For a frozen dessert that uses the same milk, sugar, and cookie wafer. Number 7, canned beans, corn, and tomatoes. Same canneries, same beans, same tomatoes. Major food producers run identical product through the same canneries and slap on whatever label the retailer ordered that week. A can of Bush's Best Black Beans at $3.20. A store brand can of black beans at $1.18. The beans inside? Often from the exact same lot at the exact same cannery. This is documented. There are FDA records of canneries producing for multiple labels under the same production code. Think about that next time you reach for the Bushes. You're paying almost 3 times more for the cowboy on the label. The same logic applies to canned diced tomatoes, canned green beans, canned corn, and canned chickpeas. The largest tomato canners in California pack for Hunt's, Contadina, Muir Glen, and almost every store brand in the country. Same tomatoes, same can, different sticker. Number 8, bottled water. If you're buying cases of Dasani or Aquafina, listen carefully. Dasani is filtered tap water owned by Coca-Cola. Aquafina is filtered tap water owned by PepsiCo. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's printed on the bottle. Source, public water supply. Store brand bottled water is also filtered tap water. Identical process. Same source in many cases. You're paying a 50 to 70% premium for the Coca-Cola label on a bottle of municipal water. The store brand water hydration drinks were found to be up to 74% cheaper at Walmart in that same NetCredit study. 74% for water. Number 9, olive oil for everyday cooking. I want to be careful here. If you're buying a single estate extra virgin olive oil from Sicily for finishing a dish, that's a different conversation. But for everyday cooking olive oil, the stuff you saute with, the stuff that goes in your salad dressing, the stuff you use to grease a pan, the store brand cooking olive oil is essentially identical to the name brand cooking olive oil. Both are blended oils from the same Mediterranean cooperatives, often from the exact same harvest year. Filippo Berio and the Kroger store brand olive oil for everyday cooking come from overlapping suppliers. You're paying for the bottle shape and the Italian sounding name. Number 10, oats and oatmeal. Quaker Oats, the little man with the hat, the brand that owns the entire oatmeal category in your mind. Plain rolled oats are a single ingredient food. Oats rolled flat. That's it. Store brand rolled oats are chemically identical to Quaker. Same nutritional profile, same cooking time, same texture. A canister of Quaker Oats can run $5.40. The store brand version, $2.90. That's a difference of $2.50 for the same oats. If you eat oatmeal every weekday morning, that's about $130 a year for the Quaker man. Number 11, vinegar. White vinegar, apple cider vinegar, distilled vinegar, all of it. Vinegar is fermented water and acetic acid. There is no Heinz magic. There is no Bragg magic for the basic stuff. A bottle of name brand white vinegar can run $3.40. The store brand, $1.10. Same chemical composition. Often the same bottling facility. The only branded vinegar where there's a real argument is unpasteurized raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, because the live cultures actually do vary by producer. But for everyday cleaning vinegar or salad dressing vinegar, you're paying triple for nothing. Number 12, rice and dried beans. Plain long grain white rice, plain brown rice, plain basmati, plain pinto beans, plain black beans, single ingredient grains and legumes. Mahatma rice in the yellow bag, $4.20 per bag. Store brand long grain white rice, $1.80. Same grain, same length, same cooking time. Uncle Ben's, Mahatma, Carolina, Riceland, these are marketing names attached to a commodity grain that comes from the same handful of growing regions in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. The rice is graded by the USDA before it ever gets bagged. The store brand and the name brand are often from the same grade and the same harvest. So there are your 12. Spices, baking staples, ketchup, pasta, cereal, frozen produce, canned goods, bottled water, cooking olive oil, oats, vinegar, rice, and dried beans. If you switched every one of these in your pantry to the store brand version, the average family would save somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 a year. That's not exaggeration. That's the Private Label Manufacturers Association doing the math across $40+ billion of annual consumer savings. Now here's where I want to be honest with you. There are a few items where the name brand actually does taste different in a blind test. Smooth peanut butter, Jif beat great value with 78% of tasters in one comparison. Oreos, saltines, some sugary kid cereals. Toll House chocolate chips beat the store brand because the store brand had soy lecithin added that changed how the chips melted. The documentation lists every single category and grades each one with real blind test data, so you know which $10 items to skip and which $2 splurges are actually worth it. The point is not to cheap out on everything. The point is to know where the brand tax is and where it isn't. Pay for the things that actually taste different. Stop paying for the things that don't. 24% of all grocery purchases in the United States were store brand as of March 2026. That's up from 17.7% at the end of 2021. People are waking up to this. The question is whether you're going to be in that 24% or the 76% that's still paying the brand tax. Dollar sales of private label groceries rose 3.3% in 2025. Name brand sales rose only 1.2% in the same period. The trend is clear. The smart money is moving. The question is whether you move with it. In the pinned comment below, I've listed the 3 pantry items I couldn't fit into this video that have the biggest hidden markups. One of them is a spice rack item that's marked up over 300%. Another is a breakfast item you probably ate this week that's owned by the same company that makes the store brand version, in the same factory, on the same week. The third one is going to surprise you because it's not a food, it's a kitchen staple that almost every American household has, and the store brand is literally chemically identical to the name brand. Check the pinned comment for all 3. The grocery industry doesn't want you doing the math. They want you grabbing the bright label and the familiar logo on autopilot. They have spent decades and billions of dollars on advertising to make sure your hand reaches for the box you saw on television as a kid. Marketing is the entire game. The product inside is interchangeable. But once you switch even 5 of these 12, your next monthly grocery bill is going to look different. You don't need to switch everything at once. Start with the 4 that have the biggest markups: spices, cereal, ketchup, pasta. Switch those 4 next time you shop. Look at the receipt. The number at the bottom is going to surprise you. Robert in Cleveland figured it out at 68 years old. He's saving $1,600 a year on a fixed income. You can figure it out today at any age on any income. $3 fix, $400 invoice. Your choice. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next one. The information was always there. Now you have it.